Happy St. Patty's Day. Episode 11.
What are we calling this one?
Do we have a name? What was that thing you said?
What did I say?
Yeah,
a Jew, an Indian, a Mick, and a Sicilian walk into a pub?
That's it. It's kind of long. It's kind of a long title.
That's okay. We'll
put it on the marquee?
No. So we're going to celebrate St. Patty's Day. A little whiskey, a little bit of Irish actors and actresses, Irish films, Irish TV.
And we have a special guest, too. But where can we hear this grand podcast?
Well, let me roll the intro.
You should do that.
All right, I'm going to roll the intro. Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a Boozedancing Media podcast featuring lively discussions about movies, TV shows, and anything else that we're watching while we drink our favorite boozy libations. If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And you can find us on boozedancing.com. And if you have questions, comments, have any suggestions for us for future shows, email us at boozedancing@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you. All right, boys.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
We are doing good. We are
here
very good.
To celebrate the grand holiday of St. Patrick's Day, which is kind of like a Hallmark holiday. It's not really a holiday.
But you know what? If we can make this a bigger holiday and nix Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and Father's Day, I'd be much happier.
I'd be all over that.
So if you rolled a drinking day out each month to replace those family days, you'd be okay.
Absolutely. There's got to be more than one saint out there we could celebrate.
Oh, right there.
Family days usually mean drinking days, I think.
Well, because you need to drink to deal with your family.
You need to drink, yes. You need to drink with all the family stuff. Yes.
So we got a special guest for us.
We do. Who's coming in?
It's our dear friend, Raj Waterford of Glass Revolution Imports. And he's
very Irish.
Just like me.
Very Irish. Yes.
And you.
Not very Irish. Or are we all Irish on March 17th, right?
On St. Patty's Day? Absolutely.
Everyone
is all
Irish
on St. Patty's Day.
That's right.
As our one designated Irishman in the group. What do you say, Mike? Is that true?
Are we allowed in?
Sure, why not?
You know what's interesting, though? You know, Mike and I were having this conversation earlier. You know, although everyone is Irish on St. Patty's Day, everyone's not Jewish on Rosh Hashanah.
No.
It's an exclusive club. You don't let us in.
No, we are picky. We sell tickets to the holidays. We sell tickets to the holidays. You just can't get tickets from a scalper. You have to go to the source.
Oh, come on. Everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. All right. So tonight, let's bring Raj in. Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in.
Top of the morning, lads.
Oh, hey, that's
excellent.
Good. A much better accent than yours.
Wow, he's a pro. He really is Irish.
Hey, did you get that when you start with the Waterford? Did you get the accent? Did it come with it?
No, it came from many Guinnesses ago.
Excellent, excellent.
I think after my third Guinness, the Irish accent gets a little stronger.
Well, Raj has a pretty good list of products in his back pocket. And we got Amrit from India, and Mahones from Spain, and Blackadder from all over, and McMurray David, and what else? Hammerhead, Rum Runner, and Waterford, which is Irish whiskey.
That's your new baby, correct?
That's our new baby. Yeah, well, 6 months old now, but
so she's not walking yet.
It's driving though.
So we were together with a Waterford tasting a while back. I was with you. And what's going on? It's, especially with the pandemic, it's been rolling out pretty far and wide. Where are we? You guys are in the first release still?
We are. As you know, that the bottles all say 1.1 on them. So that's the addition, and we're still on 1.1. We will later this year have 1.2 versions of all of the single farm releases. So that just means it's the release from the same harvest, but the second iteration of it. So it'll be older, probably a different mix of barrels. We'll probably see 1.3 in September.
We have talked about how impressive the transparency is. It's wild. I go on that website once in a while. It is crazy how much information is there.
Yeah, well, the terroir code on the back, right?
Yep.
Each bottle has one. And if you go onto the Waterford website and put the terroir code in there, the amount of information that is available, the transparency, as you said, Aaron, is just incredible. I mean, just anything you want to know, it's just there.
My favorite thing, though, is the age and the days. I just think it's awesome. 1,343 days on this particular one.
I don't think there's anything more transparent aside from mezcal bottlings. I don't know that there's anything more that has more information. I just did a Compass Box tasting a few nights ago, and you go to their website, you can download their fact sheet.
Yep.
It's not even nearly as much information, I think, as Waterford.
Well, there's some constraints that John faces with Compass Box in Scotland because the ASWA has certain limitations to what you can and cannot disclose, especially on the bottles. Obviously, on his website, he discloses more, but Ireland doesn't have as tight regulations. There are some that sort of get in the way. I mean, if you talk to Louise at JJ Corey, she'll tell you some of the issues she's had. We're trying to be transparent, but certainly what Waterford has done and the information they're making available is just incredible. I mean, I don't know if any distillery that does that. And Angela, as you were saying, with the actual, 3 years, 11 months, 6 days, that was, and 13% from this kind of barrel and 15% from this kind, it's just remarkable.
I know you got these standard releases. Do you know if there's going to be any single cask products coming?
There will not be any single cask. That's not something that, at least in the short to medium term, is something that Waterford is planning. There will be something called a cuvée, which is the next iteration. So based on, I don't know if you've seen the recent release of the study about terroir that Waterford was part of, but it was obviously done by somebody from the University of Oregon and university in the UK and in Ireland. And it proved that there was different flavors that were attributable to the soil in the land. So you can now be able to say, okay, if it's grown in this kind of soil, this is the kind of flavor that we're going to have in the whiskey that the barley is going to contribute. So the cuvée will be a layering of different farms. So they haven't decided what the final will be, but maybe 18 or 20 different farms, single farms that will be used in the blend to create a cuvée.
Well, we should drink something. Who's got Waterford?
We got a little bit left.
I actually had the 1.1 Dunball. We got a little bit left.
1.1.
I have the Gaia, the multi-farm release.
Oh, that was a good one. The one I liked.
I have the Rathclaw.
That's the one I like. I really like that one the best. What was it? Rathclaw?
Rathcloth.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers.
To St. Patty's Day.
Happy Patty's Day.
And Raj, cheers to you.
And thank you for coming on, John.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
When we get together for this little dog and pony show, we like to talk about stuff we watch. So I thought we'd start things like movies and TVs that have an Irish feel to them, filmed in Ireland or Irish storylines. I'm going to start throwing out, because I really like it, and I'm waiting for the last season to come out, is Peaky Blinders on Netflix. It's starting in after World War I, I think it's the storyline, about an Irish family in, I think it's like Manchester, England? Is that Birmingham, maybe? Yeah, working class town, and this family, they own the whole town. They're a mob basically, and it's a kind of a family drama. The lead actor, who's the head of the family, and he's got a lot of mental issues from being in World War I and killing a lot of people. And he's come home and he's taking over this family business to own the town, own shipping, own whatever. Whiskey. I think it's going into the last season, season 6, and it's done really well. It's just magnificent. It's a little hard to understand sometimes. The accents are a little tough, but it's very good. I think it's on Netflix. That's a Netflix one, I believe.
And I tried to watch it, and I think I watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes. I probably have to go back to it. I think I just put it on at the wrong time, and you really have to concentrate because, like you said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters.
There is. There's a couple actors that you see popping up other places. Helen McCrory, I think her name is. She plays the aunt of our lead character, and she pops up. She's a pretty well-known British actress. I just think it's not a funny show. It's a fairly dry and it's kind of dark and a lot of things going on. It's imagine a mobster movie, in that era. That's really good. I recommend it.
Yeah, a couple of Irish shows that we watched last year on streaming channels, and I think they were all on Netflix. One was Dead Still. I don't know if anybody saw that, but
no.
That in the, I think, late 1800s or maybe early 1900s, but it's this photographer who he's hired by people who have just had a relative that's passed away, and he'll take a photograph of the dead relative with the family to immortalize that. Pop up the relative as if they're in an actual picture, a real life scene, and he takes that, and somebody else in the series is mimicking him and creating all of these strange photographs, and so the story leads you probably to who's doing that and what the storyline is, but quite interesting, quite dry sense of humor. So there is some humor in it, but it is a little a dark comedy, I guess.
What else? You said you got another one, Raj?
Yeah, the other one that we enjoyed was Striking Out. It's modern day. It's a female lawyer with a prestigious firm who leaves the firm to set out on her own, so held striking out. But she is the fiance of one of the founders' son at the firm, and so she starts her own law firm, and there's all these different things that are going on. There's some nefarious activity that the firm she was originally working for is involved in, and there's 2 seasons of it, and it's quite good.
FYI, I love the word nefarious.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
I use it just for you.
Raj, you're the best. You're the best.
Michael, you got anything? This is your world. This is your people.
I got nothing.
That's it. You're disowned from Ireland.
Everything I watch from Ireland, it's always some romantic movie.
It's okay.
It's Quiet Man, Leap Year, P.S. I Love You. Any of those things.
P.S. I Love You?
Yeah. Hilary Swank.
That's Irish?
That's Irish?
That's where she meets the guy. She meets him in Ireland.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
In the Name of the Father? That's really not the romantic comedy.
Oh, In the Name of the Father, yeah.
No, it's not, but that is good, and that is on the list. That is a really... I haven't seen that in years. I only saw it once. I think I saw it in the theater. That was quite an excellent movie. Who's the other actor? Not Daniel Day-Lewis, but he was Kobayashi in The Usual Suspects.
The father? Pete Postlewaite.
Yeah, the father. Yeah, he's
Pete
great.
Postlewaite. I think he's better than Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He was great as Kobayashi. As far as Irish TV shows go, I haven't seen many. The Fall was really good.
That was so great.
It was
that was really good. Gillian Anderson and
she was amazing. That was the first time I thought, is she really an American citizen? This accent was just amazing.
Have you seen her in The Crown playing back?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, perfect. I mean, you think she is Margaret Thatcher, but
yes.
but certainly in the Fall, her demeanor and her whole presence was certainly there. Yeah.
I've seen her do interviews where she's still in one of those accents, and I think she's like confused where she's from. It's so strange. It's very strange. That was a very good series. I think it was only like it was like the Luther thing, right? It was like 4 episodes in one season and
right.
5 the next or something.
And the other that took place in Belfast, correct?
Yes, I think that's right.
And it was Jamie Dornan was the he was a serial rapist, right?
Yes, that's what he was.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really, really good show. It was really well done. And it was kind of I'm not going to say an easy watch, but it was fast. It didn't really it wasn't like a lot of episodes. Yeah, so I was poking around and there was a couple lists. One was like the greatest Irish TV shows. And it was the list was Derry Girls, The Fall, Normal People, Father Ted, which I've never seen. He's a priest, right?
He's a priest, but he's a detective as well.
Oh, really? That sounds like fun.
It's very funny, very humorous. But I think I'm trying to think. I think it's set in the 60s or 70s. I can't remember, but there's a number of series in it, but it's quite funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. And then there's another one that really didn't make a list, but I remember it's Jack Taylor, and it's with Ian Glenn. Jack Taylor is based on a series of books by an Irish author named Ken Bruin. I've never seen the show, but I read a lot of the books, and the books are great. It's by the Jack Taylor, obviously, and he's an ex-Garda. I guess it's like the Irish State Police.
Yep.
Police. Yeah.
So he's like but he's a drunk, and he starts a private detective thing going on, and the books are really dark. The books are really funny, really dark. I haven't seen the show, but I didn't picture Ian Glenn as Jack Taylor. You know how you have it in your head? Mike, you're the visual reader.
He's also Scottish.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. And he plays Bruce Wayne in one of the shows that the kids watch.
Oh, really?
It's like the old man Batman. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, the books were great. I just didn't see him in the role because I think he's too good looking for the role. You need somebody who's been like beaten up and just beaten down. Because in the books, this guy is pretty much always like within like an inch of his life.
Tom Cruise is Jack Reacher. Is that what you're saying?
No. Just who I pictured? I pictured like Brendan Gleeson. I pictured him.
He looks like he's been hit a lot, Gleeson.
Yeah, and he looks like he could probably knock the crap out of you too if he really wanted to.
He could take a punch too.
Yeah. So I mean, Irish TV shows not so many. A lot of films though.
Wasn't that interesting? I was doing the same kind of looking around. Whereas we've talked about all these other countries pouring TV shows into our airwaves, and we've seen Scottish shows, we've seen shows from Wales, we've seen shows from Britain, of course, Israel, but there's not a lot of Irish TV shows.
No, there aren't. That
at least that have gotten acclaim in the U.S. I'm not sure why that is. Movies, of course, but not TV, not series. I don't understand.
But maybe they don't produce their own stuff, but there's no shortage of Irish actors and actresses.
No, there is not. We will get to a whole long list, but there's a lot of movies. One of my favorites that I ever saw was Waking and Devine.
Yep.
Wasn't that fun?
Wasn't he a lottery winner or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
He wins £2 million or €2 million or whatever it is, and he drops dead when he finds that he's won the lottery, and so two of the townsfolk decide that they're going to impersonate him, but they have to get somebody else in the town to go along with it. So it's it's very funny.
It would have been
really
great
funny
if they would have gone like the Weekend at Bernie's route.
Yes,
just reanimated him.
It's probably what it was. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite all time Irish movies is obviously The Commitments.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
It's
I mean, the second one wasn't as good as the first, but the original Commitments was just music, the whole lifestyle, everything else was just amazing.
It felt like when I was looking up movies, most of these movies were from the 90s, like The Commitments and Waking Ned Devine, Michael Collins, which we mentioned.
Right.
It's there. Like the 90s was like the hot point for Irish movies.
The Crying Game, which was
Crying Game. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
My Left Foot. Left Foot.
That was really good, and even the woman, Brenda Fricker, who played his mom, she was great. That was a really, really good movie. Daniel Day-Lewis was pretty impressive.
It's kind of the one that got him on the map, right?
Actually, he did a couple other movies with I think Stephen Frears in England.
Yeah.
My Beautiful Laundrette and a couple others. So he did a few before that, but I think My Left Foot was probably his first Oscar.
I liked Michael Collins because I like that whole era historical story of the birth of Ireland. Again, another period piece. I like the period pieces, but
once I don't know if you thought once that the
with who's the I can't think of the singer's name now.
Two musicians that are in it.
Well, he is in the God damn it! All right, we're gonna have to cut all this out. Wait, hang on one second. Give me 1 second here. This drives me crazy. I'm like, God, I'm getting old. So it was Once, you say?
Once, correct.
Yeah. So the actor was Glenn Hansard. He was also in The Commitments.
Correct.
And he's the lead singer of The Frames.
Right.
Which I saw them in concert at the TLA, where my mom is going to get her first COVID shot.
It's a big circle.
My wife dragged me. She's like, "Oh, we got to go see these guys." They were fantastic. They put on a really good show. I knew nothing about them. I knew about Glenn Hansard, and we've seen him a couple times. We saw him open up for, I think, Fiona Apple at the Tower, and because he was tied up, it was the what was the name of the band? The Swell Season, I think.
Yes.
That was like another musical side thing they were doing with Marketa Irglova, who was I think was she a pianist in the film, or is she like plays strings? I forget.
I think it's strings.
Okay, and they hook up and they start playing music together. They meet in Dublin. But Once is a really good movie, and then it became a musical on Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
But the movie had the soundtrack. The music was written along with the movie, so
it won the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
It did. You're right. Yeah,
those two people, Glenn Hansard and I won't even attempt her name.
Marketa Irglova. Yeah, that was a good movie. My wife dragged me to it because she was pretty obsessed with Glenn Hansard and the Frames for a while. So I, went and saw them a few times. I think I actually saw the Swell Season. And if you ever get a chance to see the Frames in concert, they're a really good rock and roll band. It's like they're like the Irish Springsteen. It's that kind of they get the crowd into it. They're really, really good.
Another 90s one that I remember seeing this one with my wife was The Field with Richard Harris.
Isn't Sean Bean in that also?
Sean Bean's in that one. Yep. That's a really kind of old Irish movie. It feels old. It's supposed to be old. It's like in the 1940s or something like that. And Richard Harris owns a plot of land, and he will tend to it till his last day, and it's all just grass. He just tends it. He doesn't own it, and the owner's going to sell it, and he doesn't want to. Richard Harris doesn't want him to get rid of it, and I think it's Tom Berenger. I think is the American who comes into buy the land, and it's a kind of a battle, and it's pretty. Everything is so green and lush, and it's a real good one too.
By the way, the Irishman in the group is very, very quiet.
I think he's
the
quiet man and the Irishman.
He's John Wayne.
I tend to talk over everyone.
Speak up, man. Speak up.
Here's a little factoid about Ireland. There are more Irish people living abroad than living in Ireland.
Correct.
There are 80 million Irish people outside of Ireland, and there's only 6 million people in Ireland.
Most of them live in the U.S.
Most of them live in like New York City or Chicago.
Between 1820 and 1860, in 1820, Ireland had 4 million people. Between 1820 and 1860, they lost 2 million people through either death from the famine or leaving to come to the U.S. or some other place. So by 1860, the population was only 2 million, and now they've only grown to 6, where outside they've flourished everywhere they've gone.
But, for a country that's that small, with a small population, what they've accomplished, what they've done, the history of it, and also, recently, obviously, we're talking whiskey, but the recent proliferation of new distilleries that have opened up, it's just remarkable. I mean, you drive through Ireland and there is a new distillery popping up all over the place.
I think I read there's about 50 now.
Yeah, 40-something, I think maybe close to 50. Yeah. Whereas if you think of it, 10 years ago, there was 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Doing everything. Everything you saw on a shelf came from like 3 places. 3 or 4.
Correct.
3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
And Raj, I assume most of it is for export? I mean, how much can the country drink, for God's sake?
Surprisingly, a lot of it's, the take-up of it is domestic. I mean, it's... obviously the EU as well is a good market for it. It's a lot easier, especially post-Brexit, to sell into the EU than it is to get it into the UK. Okay. And every brand wants to come to the US as everyone does. I think it's the holy grail. But that's I have to convince them. We get offered. I think this year I've been offered 6 different Irish whiskeys to date. Wow. So I have quite a collection of samples, but it's interesting because you get the ones that are passionate about what they're doing and they have a real story to tell, where others are, we're going to set up a distillery and we're going to do vodka and gin and this and that at the same time. And I'm going, what's your reason for being? Where are you trying to get to?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's like craft distilling here. It's the same thing. There's folks that get into it that know what they're doing, and then there's folks that are just trying to make a buck.
My wife and I went to Ireland in the early 90s, and we were on a pub tour of Ireland, and it was really interesting. It was these 3 girls out of Colorado who figured out how to run a tour, and it was a small group of people who met in Dublin, and they would tour based almost on the pubs. So we went to like 3 pubs a day, and other things as well. And I'm not a beer drinker, never really was. So everyone was excited to drink, all these different amazing beers in all these pubs and watch the Guinness get poured. But I said, I'm not going to drink beer because I don't drink beer. I'm going to have a different whiskey in every pub I go to. By the second day, I'd seen every whiskey. There was nothing. There were like 3. All I remember seeing was Jameson, Bushmills, and Powers.
I thought you were going to say by the second day you were blind drunk.
No, I was really surprised. That was the era, right? There wasn't a lot of brands, I guess.
There was not. I mean, there was, in fact, at one point there was probably only going to be 2 distilleries in Ireland, just because a number of them had closed and they weren't willing to change their styles or get modern in what they were doing. And that was a lot of that was the demise of the Irish whiskey industry, because the Irish whiskey industry used to be bigger than Scotland. I mean, it was, Irish whiskey in the U.S. was huge, a huge marketplace for it. It's good to see it coming back. I mean, we're seeing 30 to 40% growth per annum of Irish whiskey in the U.S., which is great to see.
Is it time to refill?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to move on to a little Jameson, I think.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Hey, Jameson.
Well.
You got the Cooper's Crest? I got the IPA edition, Castmates.
I got Redbreast 12, by the way. Staying with the Irish theme.
Very nice.
That is a solid whiskey.
I'm sticking to Waterford, so. The 15.
Oh, the 15. Very nice. Is that cast strength, Mike?
No.
There's a 12 cast strength.
12 cast strength, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's a 15 cast strength.
No, it's not.
So back to our celebration of Ireland and St. Paddy's Day. Irish actors. The actor list, I just threw 10 of them on a list. It's like a who's who of Hollywood. It's really amazing, And we kind of have the same thing with the Scottish acting category too. When we talked about that a while back for Burns Night. I'm just going to run this list real fast because it's mind-boggling. Daniel Day-Lewis, Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole, Colin Farrell, Liam Neeson, Michael Fassbender, Barry Fitzgerald for the older folks around, Pierce Brosnan, Gabriel Byrne, Kenneth Branagh. I mean, that is some heavy hitters. Uh-huh. It's crazy.
And there's a few that I didn't realize were Irish. I did not realize that Michael Gambon. I assumed he was English, but apparently he's Irish.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. And also Kenneth Branagh is apparently Irish.
Some of these things get stretched. You're born in Ireland, but you grew up in London, right?
Like Fassbender.
Yes. So it's a little bit. Peter O'Toole's one of those borderline guys too, but
borderline guys.
Literally borderline. It's just a quality list of actors who can say that they're Irish descent. Daniel Day-Lewis, we talked about. Richard Harris, my God, he's Hall of Famer, right? Peter O'Toole.
God, I remember when I lived in London. I saw I can't remember the play Peter O'Toole was in, but I was in the first row at the Victoria Theatre. Peter O'Toole was in this play, and it's just like, wow. Okay, I'm seeing Peter O'Toole from. I will never see him closer, except if you're watching Lawrence of Arabia, and it's IMAX screen, right? That's the biggest you're gonna get. But it was just incredible.
One of my favorite movies with him is my favorite actor, my favorite year.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that. That was great.
Yeah.
So he had so many fun movies as he got older.
Yes.
He was a very serious actor when he was younger, but as he got older, oh my God, it was just he didn't care anymore. It was, and then going from Lawrence of Arabia to, crazy movies.
And 7 Academy Awards with no wins, because that year happened to be a year somebody else, the performance of a lifetime kind of thing.
He was in Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was the critic.
He's the critic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
He's Ego, Anton Ego.
Anton Ego.
Now, you didn't mention any female Irish actresses.
We're getting there.
Okay, I thought you were just skipping
No.
And you don't have Kieran Hines or
I was going to say
Kieran Brendan
Hines
Gleeson on that list, or
No,
Brendan Gleeson's son, Domhnall Gleeson, who's General Hux in the Star Wars movies. He's the guy in Peter Rabbit. He's in has a small role in the Harry Potter movies.
Liam Neeson is that's a whole conversation by himself as well.
Oh, yeah, because it's kind of funny because he goes from a lot of serious films and maybe a comedy or two, but not many, and then he's like an action star.
Yeah. Just don't try and take his daughter. Don't take his daughter.
No, because he has a very specific set of skills.
Avoid getting involved with this family at all costs.
Yep.
Barry Fitzgerald. He's was in all these great old black and white films, and he was in The Quiet Man.
And in that same time frame, I'd throw in Walter Brennan. He's an American of Irish descent, but he won 3 Best Supporting Actor awards. He was character actor, knew his niche, stayed as a supporting actor.
Yeah, never a lead, always a second fiddle guy.
He'd be right up there with Barry Fitzgerald. Probably if one wasn't it, the other one was.
What did he win for, Mike?
He won for Come and Get It, 1936, Kentucky in 1938, and The Western in 1940.
Pierce Brosnan. So I don't know that most people knew who Pierce Brosnan was before his TV days as Remington Steele in the 90s.
Oh, I used to love Remington Steele. I used to have Remington Steele hair.
I'm sure you did.
I had fantastic Remington Steele hair. Now I've got what's his name? Who was we mentioned him before? Who was the father and in the name of the father?
Pete Postlethwaite?
Yeah, now I got Pete Postlethwaite here.
You and me both.
Yeah, that's all right. Aaron too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we're all headed down the same race. You just got there first.
And then he gets the Bond movie, and that was a turning point. And he's had a very interesting career where he's gone from this kind of, TV actor, kind of a comedian-ish, a lot of humor. And then he's gotten into some really pretty serious stuff, action stuff. I always thought he did 1, 2, 3 Bond movies. I don't remember how many he did. 3? Yeah. He could always have this series if he wanted it. He could always get that franchise, I think, if he really wanted it.
Well, he was supposed to get it earlier.
I meant other,
yeah.
And Sherlock Holmes. He could have been and done 3 of those movies. Or what was the one where he was a jewel thief?
Thomas Crown.
Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown. There could have been 5 Thomas Crown movies, right? He just never wanted it after the Bond thing. But he's a solid actor.
Did you ever see The Tailor of Panama?
Yes.
No.
That was great. Him and
Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rush. That was really, really good. That was a great movie.
I just pulled up. I got to go back for a sec here, guys. I just pulled up Remington Steele.
Uh-huh.
We remember the cast, right?
Stephanie Zimbalist.
Him, Doris Roberts.
Yep.
Jack D'Elia. Okay. So those were names right? Guest stars. Listen to this list of guest stars. Louis Anderson, Delta Burke, Gina Davis, Whitey Ford and Mickey Mantle, Conrad Janis, Jane Kasmerick, John Larroquette, Dorothy Lamour, Judith Light, Rose Marie, Annie Potts, Paul Reiser, Peter Scolari, Gene Smart, Sharon Stone in season 1.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Really? How many seasons did they have? Was it 3 or 4?
4. It was 4.
And it kind of went off the rails after the last couple.
Yeah, they always do. But
I used to like that show. That was fun.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. Like moonlighting fun. The other 2 names I had on this list was Gabriel Byrne. He's just, wow.
He's pretty solid.
We talked about him a few weeks back being in 000.
Yeah.
And he's just so good in pretty much everything he does. The HBO show
In Treatment?
Yep,
right.
That was quality television, right?
Well, Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing. Boy.
He was great in Miller's Crossing.
Boy,
which is also because they were Irish mob, right? Yeah. What's his name? Finney? Albert Finney was the Don, I guess, the Irish Don.
Kenneth Branagh. He's done it all, and plus directing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And now he has a really sweet stash as Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
He's on Murder the Orient Express, and now he's doing the Death on the Nile. I think is the next one they're working on, and he's got that fabulous stash of his. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
It makes the movie.
Kenneth Branagh and Wallander was such a great series. I don't know if you ever saw that, but just him playing that police inspector or detective in somewhere in northern Scotland, northern England or something. I can't remember where, but he was. Oh no, sorry, he was in Sweden, wasn't it?
Sweden. It looks like
Sweden. Right. Yeah. He was a Swedish police detective.
An Irishman in Sweden playing a Swedish detective.
Isn't that great?
That sounds fantastic.
The way of the world.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's on like Netflix. Oh,
think
I'm sorry. Guess where it is, Ange?
HBO Max.
That's right.
HBO Max.
Worth seeing. You got to see it. You
4 seasons.
It's a sponsor of What We Watch When We Drink. HBO Max.
He's a special actor, I think.
Hey, he did the first Thor movie. Didn't he direct it?
First Dora movie?
The first Thor movie.
Thor movie. Dora.
No, seriously, I think he did.
But he's one of these actors that he's theatrical, right? I mean, he comes from the Shakespeare school, right, where you have that stage presence, and then you carry that onto the big screen, which is just remarkable. I mean, I think if you look at the great actors and actresses who have had experience on the stage, and then they go to doing things on screen, they have a different delivery, a different ability to connect.
His first wife is kind of in that same family, right? Emma Thompson. She's got that classic background too.
Speaking of Emma Thompson, there was a movie they made together, and it was in black and white. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, what was that?
That was really, really good from what I remember. It was really fun.
Was that Dead Again?
Yes. That was cool.
Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was good. I haven't seen it in years. I saw it when it came out. I think I saw it in the theater, but I haven't seen it since. No, he's really good. And he was in Dunkirk. He was in that also, wasn't he? He was the commander of the ship, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was in Dunkirk. Yeah, he was good. He was really, really good.
Yeah, because he decided he was the commander of the ship that said, we're staying, everybody else go, and we're going to stay because we're going to rescue.
Oh, right.
Right.
The rest of I remember him wears big, long coat standing on the brow of the ship saying, we're staying.
And it's roles like that made me think he was British.
And he hangs out. His like school friends are Emma Thompson, Hugh Laurie, Tony Slattery, and Stephen Fry.
There you go.
No, that's nobody.
Another Hall of Fame clown.
Your friends are they're dragging you down. Just keep looking at those people.
That's like, what was it, the Yankees? Was it Murderers Row?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Oh, and Lou Gehrig batting fourth. Any other actors we want to mention here?
Let me see this bunch here. Okay, so we talked. Did we talk Maureen O'Hara? Oh no, just actors. You're talking just the boys right now.
Just the boys.
Just the boys. All right, so we mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis, Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole, Colin Farrell. That's a guy, I didn't like him at first, but after I saw In Bruges, he really won me over because he was just so good at In Bruges. That is a great movie. Have you seen it, Raj?
No, I don't believe I have.
That's really good. It's Colin Farrell and it's Brendan Gleeson, and they play a couple of like hitmen, and something goes wrong on one of the hits, and they have to kind of, lay low. So they go to Bruges and they kind of hang out there, and all kinds of weird things happen. And I forget who plays the mobster. What's his name? The guy who was the Nazi in Schindler's List.
Oh,
he was. He was the guy who ran the concentration camp.
Remembered as the Nazi.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sucks getting old, doesn't it? Four old guys walk into a pub. That's the next episode.
Do we know they're there?
We thought it was pretty good.
I mean, he's in what's it called now? He's now M in the Bond movies.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
That's it. Yeah, so in Bruges. Yeah, Ray Fiennes is in it as well, and he plays a kind of I guess like an East End mobster. He was great in Bruges. That was just a really good movie. I would recommend seeing that. It's two guys on the lam in Bruges just trying to, lay low, and things don't go well. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see who else we got here. So we got Colin Farrell, and again, he has won me over in a big way with that movie, and I really liked him in True Detective Season 2.
I was going to mention True Detective. Yeah.
Which was an awful season. That was terrible, but he was really good in it.
He was really good.
He was good, and that's about it. And Vince Vaughn was horribly miscast. Colin Farrell, Liam Neeson,
Talked
we
about
mentioned.
him.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender.
Talked about him.
Cillian Murphy. Or Gillian Murphy.
He is so great in Peaky Blinders. I'm not sure what else he's been in, but he's
been in a lot. 28 Days Later. The zombie movie that takes place in London.
I don't think
That's really good. That is a genuinely well done zombie film. That is really good. It's Danny Boyle directed it.
Seems like a very small list.
He's also in this other movie that I saw, another Danny Boyle movie called Sunshine. And it's about I forget what's happening. I think the sun is dying and there's like a space mission to go out there and try to make things right. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's weird. It's a little more, not cerebral, but a little melancholy, but it's a really good movie. What else we got? Stephen Ray, who was in The Crying Game.
Oh, Stephen Ray, yeah.
And he's been in a lot of other movies. Pierce Brosnan, Gabriel Byrne we mentioned, Brendan Gleeson, Kenneth Branagh, Domhnall Gleeson, which I didn't realize was his son.
Yep.
Cole Meany.
Yep.
Did you ever see Layer Cake? That was really good. And that was first time I saw it, that's with, what's his name? Bond. Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's with Daniel Craig, and it's got Cole Meany in it, and it also has one of the other Irishmen that I didn't know was Irish, Dumbledore.
Michael
Gambon, yeah. And you've got Ciarán Hinds, who we mentioned, Jamie Dornan, who was in The Fall, Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd's great.
He is a funny
most
guy.
Understated actor around.
He is really, really good, and he was great in Girlfriends. Oh no, I'm sorry, Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids. Yeah.
He was really good in Bridesmaids. He was hysterical. He was really hysterical. And they've got one guy who I don't really care for, Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Here's a guy we don't mention too much. Aidan Gillen. He was the mayoral candidate in The Wire.
Oh,
He's in Game of Thrones too.
Game of Thrones, yeah. He's Littlefoot or whatever. Yes. But The Wire's where he started. That was his.
Here's one of your favorites there, Mike. Patrick McGoohan.
His umbrella.
He's what was that one show that he was on a long time ago?
The Avengers.
Was he in the Avengers?
He was the Avengers. Not the Marvel Avengers, but the British Avengers with Emma Peel as his.
That's Patrick McGee.
You're Patrick McGowan. You're right.
Oh my God! Talk about having a senior moment. Jesus, Mike. And then we got a new guy who was in one of my favorite shows of the past year in Normal People, Paul Mescal.
Funny, his last name was Mescal.
Yeah, I know. He's really good. I think he's going to be one of those to watch.
He's a kid.
Yeah, he's like 25.
Yeah, something like that.
He was very good. Very good. He had a quiet authority on the screen.
We didn't actually mention Normal People, did we, during the TV
No, we
show?
did not. Have you seen this show, Raj?
Which one?
It's called Normal People.
It was on Hulu.
I know about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's really, really good. It's on Hulu, and it's based on a book that was written by an Irish author. But it's very, very good. And it kind of follows a couple kids kind of growing up. They're they meet when they're like juniors or seniors in high school
In Ireland.
in college, where was it? What was the town? I can't remember the name of the town.
I don't know.
Well, whatever. It was a small town in Ireland, and then they both go off to college. They both go off to Trinity College in Dublin, and it's just their relationship, on again, off again relationship, and
Yeah.
it is really excellent.
Yeah.
It's very serious, but what's nice is I'd say it's a very efficient show because I don't think any of the episodes go over 40 minutes.
No.
And there's only like 10 or 12 episodes.
And they're filmed like movies.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Anyway, do we need another drink?
We probably should have another drink.
Let's do that. What's next? You're sticking with the Waterford, Raj?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, gotta support the brand. So
I got you. I was going to say, you're staying on brand. That's okay. That's okay. That's not only your whiskey, that's your bread and butter.
Better than Waterford, I drink it.
Yeah, I got a couple of other Irish whiskeys downstairs I should bring up. But
I am
what's
Teeling small batch rum cask.
Very nice. Very nice. Mike, what do you got? Did you move on to the 15?
I moved on to the Redbreast 15.
Excellent. I moved on to the Powers 3 Swallow.
What's that?
Single pot still.
Huh.
We actually reviewed it recently, but it hasn't posted yet. So you're gonna have to wait for the results.
We will wait.
How's that for a teaser?
no one here is drinking proper 12.
No, we reviewed it. It's okay. I think it's overpriced for what it is, but it's not horrible.
Did you
by any
see
stretch?
Mark's little story about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Tell that story, Mark. Raj, about what
Yeah. So the parent company that owns the brand Proper 12, in their recent filings, their annual report, they had a disclosure about buying out the majority share in the brand, the parent company of it. So, which Mark reported as an indication that they were probably going to cash Connor out, and he was not going to be involved with the brand anymore.
It's a celebrity brand where you might lose to celebrity. We'll find another MMA guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I won't get into it. I mean, what is he the ideal celebrity to have with that brand?
Probably not. Maybe we'll say it. You're in the industry. We're just hacks, but he always was an odd choice. I think. Anyone controversial.
Well, he helped create the brand, so it was his brand, right?
Yeah.
He was involved in creating it, so hence he was involved with it. But because of some of the actions that he's taken, or some of his comments, is that somebody that you want to support? I mean, I think if it was something that he owned outright, he couldn't do anything about it, right? But if it was Ryan Reynolds saying something about aviation gin, and well, it's his brand, you can't do anything about it. But because Connor didn't own the majority of it, it gives the owners a right to say, "See you later."
Adios. Yep.
Have you had it before, Raj?
Only no. I was, that story about the guy in the bar, the old guy in the bar who said no and got punched in the head.
No.
So they were doing an event in a bar, and McGregor was going around pouring it, and this guy in his 60s or whatever said, "No, I don't want any," and he got punched in the head by McGregor.
Oh my God!
Because why are you refusing my whiskey? So
that's a brand ambassador for you.
Probably.
Man, if I had $1 every time a brand ambassador punched me out. Wow.
Yeah, but I probably would have been the guy saying no thanks. No.
That's funny. That's too funny.
I know. I'm not somebody big on celebrity brands, No,
I mean it's a gimmick. I guess it's a good way to get your market out there, to get your product out there and get the brand out there and get some recognition. But what are you gonna do? I mean, that's the whole thing with celebrity endorsements, right?
Yep.
You never know.
Look at it. Look at Air Jordans, for God's sake. I can get my son down here and tell you about the whole aftermarket for the whole not black market, but the gray market for Air Jordans. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look at them, but I'll never wear them.
They are the Pappy Van Winkle of sneakers.
Did you see that a woman who was a senior VP at Nike got fired or decided to leave the company?
Why?
Because her son was doing the gray market and was making thousands and thousands of dollars a month buying all these shoes and using bots to get into the lotteries, pick all this stuff up and doing all this.
My boy could tell you all about it.
And he was dumb enough to say that he had an inside track to when they were releasing shoes.
Oops.
And then use his mother's address to send the shoes to. So some quick detective work comes up and figures, hey, I think you might be giving him inside information.
I was going to say, it's insider trading, right?
So she decided to leave the company.
Wow.
Wise move.
With, I'm sure, a golden parachute. I'm sure she was taken care of.
I'm sure.
One little quick note real fast before we get to the actresses. Anyone care to guess how many pints of Guinness is produced every day in Dublin at the factory?
Produced every day?
Yep.
Wait, Price is Right rules?
2 million.
2 million. We have 2 million.
Mike?
Produced in Dublin, 0.
You can't lose then, you.
0.
Okay. Oh,
Don't make any in Dublin.
That's not true.
1.
Yes, Price is Right. 1. Oh, so
1 pint.
Closest without going over would be Raj. 10 million pints a day.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
That's a lot of beer.
They consolidated everything at the Dublin facilities. That ties in nicely to Waterford, because Waterford is on the site of what used to be a Guinness brewery that Diageo owned, where they actually made the syrup for both Guinness and Kilkenny for the African market. And then after investing all this money in it, Diageo decided they're going to consolidate and expand the facility in Dublin. And that's where everything's made. So a lot of what you get Guinness, if you get Guinness in the U.S., the syrup comes over to the U.S. It's brewed in the U.S. The syrup is added to it to produce the flavor. So it's not genuine Irish Guinness.
Irish actresses. We did a fair amount of time on the men. Let's talk about the women. But it's an interestingly small list of people you know.
I think you're right. I think that it's just recently that a lot of Irish actresses have come to the forefront, and a lot of them are younger. I mean, I think there's a lot of older Irish actresses that we probably would not be aware of.
Well, the two biggies are Maureen O'Hara and Maureen Sullivan, right, from an era way before all of us. Sure. And then the three other ones that I noted was Fiona Shaw.
Oh, I like her.
She's great. She's in
Killing Eve.
Killing Eve. Yep. And
she is fantastic on Killing Eve.
She is great. She's just she's one of those solid actresses, right? She may never be the lead, but she's always going to be a great second banana, right? Ruth Negga.
I'm sure she'll be proud. She'll be glad to hear that from you.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. She's a big one.
Aaron said I'm a second banana.
Ruth Negga, who was in she was in The Preacher on Fox. That was a Seth Rogen produced show about a preacher who's kind of like got superhero qualities, and she's his girlfriend. And who you mentioned before, I can't say her first name.
Saoirse Ronan?
Yeah, Ms. Ronan.
She is very good.
She is, well, yeah, she's just on another planet acting wise. She's been in a lot in a small amount of time.
Yep. She absolutely has, and the diversity, the breadth of roles that she's played in that short period of time has been incredible.
She was in what was the one she won?
Lady
Bird, right? In Sacramento. So I saw the house. Drove by the house when I was in Sacramento. It's a tourist trap, and she was in Mary Queen of Scots. Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet though.
I think she's got some new movie out or coming. I think I saw. Anyone else have any actresses that they want to put on the list?
Sharon Horgan.
What was that?
Catastrophe.
Catastrophe, yes.
The TV series, Catastrophe.
And she's done a few other things. She's written a few other shows.
And she started out not as an actress, right? She started out as a writer, director, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole story is great. Have you seen Catastrophe, Raj?
Yes, because her and Rob, right?
Rob Delaney.
They wrote and produced it, right? It's based on... isn't it based on their relationship?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think they were ever... they met apparently on Twitter.
Okay.
And they started having a back and forth, and they said, hey, let's write a show together.
Right.
And
no, it's really... I mean, I think I watched 3 seasons.
Yeah. That's a great show. That is just a really... It's just fast, furious, again, more efficient storytelling.
Yes.
There's not a lot of wasted time. It's not a long season. The episodes are short. It's just fast and furious.
And the last place we might see it, Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher?
Oh.
She plays his mom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't know what you meant. I thought you were saying she's Irish. I'm like, is she?
No.
That's right. She does play his mom. That's correct. Yeah.
That cast is kind of, there's a fair amount of folks in there that are you see Tobias Menzies, he's in Game of Thrones, and Mark Bonner, he's been in I think he's Scottish. He's been in all kinds of different shows. One of those, you see a lot of faces maybe you don't know them, but of course Carrie Fisher too. Very funny cast, very funny show.
It is very funny. The writing's great, the acting's great.
Yeah.
It's funny.
When
It's
Terry
brutal.
Fisher turned up, I thought, whoa, where's this going?
Uh-huh.
It's so funny.
It is a brutally honest show.
Yep.
All right, my senior moment's over. Outlander. I couldn't remember the word Outlander. Katrina Balfe is the Sassenach. She's actually Irish. And you guys had talked about the Nick in one of our other shows, Eve Hewson.
I was just going to say,
She's
she
Irish.
was next on my list.
I would probably take the two American actresses, Rooney and Kate Mara.
Oh,
They're both really well up and comers. And Natasha McElhone, is that how you say her name? She's in Ronan.
Yeah.
She's Irish too. So
She's in
there's that
Ronan.
mid-range group of people who are probably
And
the face. That
she's in
40,
she's in a few other things too. She's in Ronan. She's in the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's also in Californication.
Yeah.
What's
she's
his name?
also Irish.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about her. But yeah, Eve Hewson's interesting because now I see her in everything.
Yeah, she's popping up in a lot of things.
She's in the Nick. She's in that show Behind Her Eyes on Netflix. So she's and she's Bono's daughter, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
His last name actually is Hewson.
She's interesting. I mean, again, I'm not done with the Nick. I've been a little too busy. I haven't had a chance to catch up on my TV watching. I'm about on episode 4 of the Nick. She's good though, and she's really bizarre in that other show Behind Her Eyes. She's very striking. She's got those big blue eyes, and she's only like 5'1", but she's got a definite presence on the screen.
Mm.
So I'm curious to see where she goes.
Did you know that the Irish surname that starts with the letter O means grandson of? So O'Callahan.
Okay. It's always grandson of. Okay.
Grandson of.
Yes.
There you go. And here's one other factoid for you. The oldest bar in the world is in Ireland. Sean's Bar. Sean's Bar. Goes back to,
Where's Sean's Bar?
I don't know where it is, but it goes back to 900 AD. Same waitresses there.
Fascinating.
So when I was on that trip to Ireland, I seeing all these different pubs. Two stood out. One was in I want to say Shannon. I could be wrong. It was called the Snug, and it was billed as the smallest pub in Ireland, or the smallest. It was literally. I mean, it was like 5 feet wide, but it went back like the length of a building. It was so snug. And the other one was this. I think this was in Dublin. I can't remember. And it was the interior was all built from a dismantled Scottish church. So the church was dismantled in Scotland and reassembled inside to make this pub in Ireland. And I remember that was the night I didn't have Irish whiskey. I guess I did. I had Poichin, the Irish moonshine. Irish whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought it was something special, and it was just nothing.
Yeah. We went to one called Dirty Nelly's, which when my brother took me there, he said that was the oldest or one of the oldest pubs in Ireland. I think it was near Kilcarney or Kilkenny, one of the two. But
the pub life in Ireland is great, much like in Scotland. I remember the girls that took us on this tour. They have a fact sheet of things to do, things not to do. And one, so this is the early 90s, one was, if we're in a pub, do not talk politics. Do not talk about the Troubles. Do not bring these topics up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike, is it don't order a black and tan?
Don't order a black and tan.
Don't order a black and tan.
Don't order.
Is that an American thing?
Car bomb. Do not order an Irish car bomb.
Don't order an Irish car.
Yeah, I remember once I was in an Irish pub in Canada, not in Ireland, but the Galway Arms in Toronto, and I ordered a black and tan, and the owner said, "Not in my pub."
Is that strictly an American thing?
I think it's an English thing.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can do a half and half, which
is that a black and tan?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you specify you want Guinness and Kilkenny or Guinness and something else. And
Or Guinness and whatever.
Harp, yeah.
Got it.
You can order a blacksmith, which is
That's
half
true.
Guinness, half Smithwick's, but you
That's
cannot order a black and tan.
That's true.
Now I can
No sense of humor.
I know we've talked a lot about whiskey, but I can kind of go for a Guinness. That would be nice.
See, I got to when I was in at the Guinness brewery. You do the big tour and stuff like that, and And one of the things you can opt for is to pull your own Guinness, right? And if you pull the perfect Guinness, you get a certificate. So
Guinness says the most vital step is to fill the glass 3/4 full, let it settle exactly 119.5 seconds before topping off the pint.
119.5 seconds.
Yes.
Wow. I just used my supervision ability to figure when it was ready. I do have the certificate saying I poured the perfect Guinness. So
to add to your to all your other certificates.
There we go. Yeah. I think I'll be buried with that one.
There you go.
See, Raj is certified. We're certifiable.
Totally. Very much so, yes. And on that note, I think we should thank Raj for coming in tonight and having a little whiskey with us and talking some Irish whiskey, Waterford, and talking TV and movies from the Emerald Isle.
Raj, thank you. And again, my apologies for the short notice. You are the man, and we appreciate you joining us.
Happy to be here and have a safe and happy St. Patty's Day.
Bye, Raj.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks. Now that Raj is gone, let's talk about him.
We like Raj. We can't talk about him.
Let's not talk about Raj. He brings in good whiskeys and he gives us samples. We don't talk about Raj.
Hey, you know what? It's not about that. He's a friend, and it's a very good friend.
Friend first. Yeah, I had
whiskey second.
Right.
I have a couple of his Blackadder that are samples that he gave us that are just waiting for me to pile into one day. Those are looking, and they're all whiskeys with 5s and 6s.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know, really nice. This was a fun little Irish whiskey St. Patty's Day event, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It was a grand old time.
It was. It's horrible.
What?
We cannot
don't shake your head there, boy.
It's
what do you want from a couple of Jews and a Sicilian?
That's right, boy. A couple of Jews. Who's the second?
A couple of guys. I don't know. One Sicilian, one Jewish.
We don't know what the hell we're talking about.
We don't know. It's all the Irish whiskey we've been drinking.
We don't know. Hey, final thoughts. What's it called? Favorite Irish pubs. Where are your favorite Irish pubs that you've actually been to? Either U.S. or Ireland. I've never had the pleasure of Ireland, so sadly, I'm restricted to the U.S.
We have one here that's closed. Well, kind of closed. I took you there. When you were here a few years ago. Brain fart. Can't think of the name.
O'Flannery's. O'Finn's. O'Boyle's. O'Toole's.
There's a Tam O'Shanter here.
Oh, my.
Hold on, Zach.
Mulligan. Carrie Mulligan. Was it Carrie Mulligan? Finnegan's Wake.
Tiernan Philly. I think that's a good, solid Irish place because they've got a decent rundown of booze and the food's good.
What's the one on Walnut Street all the way up? The one with the thatched roof.
The Bard.
Oh, the Bard's is good.
The Bard's that's a really good pour.
The Bard's is a really good. There's a couple of really good Irish bars in Philly. The Irish pubs really not so much. I mean, they're fun. They're a good time, but they're not really. The one on 12th Street or the one on 21st Street.
No.
They're okay.
And they're okay food. It's okay booze. It's
what's the oldest pub? The oldest bar, the one on Drury Street.
McGillen's.
That is probably one of the few times where I actually spent an entire St. Patty's Day at a bar. Mm-hmm. And that was just a really, really good time. I got there at noon. I think I stayed there till about 6 p.m. That was just great time.
And they bring in some craft beers, which that's nice for them to do. And you can bring a crowd of people in, and they have an upstairs room. It's nice.
That's a really good one. I also wasn't there for St. Patty's Day, but the Dead Rabbit down in the financial district.
Yeah, lower into town.
Down by Battery Park. That is great. And again, they make an $18 Irish coffee, but let me tell you, it's worth every single penny. It is fantastic. Aaron, what's the name of the bar in L.A.? Do you remember?
Tom Bergen's.
Oh, Tom Bergen's.
So, and Tom Bergen's, which the story about them is...
they've had multiple owners, haven't they, over the years?
Yeah, it's complicated. Tom Bergen's is famous for a couple of reasons. One, supposedly that's where Irish coffee it came up from. That's the rest. Yeah. And the other is that Cheers, the TV show, is based on the writers for Cheers sat around at Tom Bergen's, and that was their hangout, and came up with the idea for Cheers.
Fascinating. Yeah, I like that bar. That was a lot of fun. That was probably one of the most fun nights at a bar because I think we were supposed to. That was the worst pub crawl ever because we never left Tom Bergen's.
This is true.
We were supposed to hit about 5 bars, and we just kind of sat it. We planted ourselves at the one end around 6, and I think we left around midnight.
we met some other people there, and we didn't want to stay or go.
It was great. It's a shame. You know what would have been better
Yeah,
if Mike was there.
time we ever had.
Mike was there. Boy, it would have been
It would
nice.
have been really, really nice.
Greatest time.
We actually
Glad you
have-
weren't there. Ew, God, it's a
We actually have
worst.
quite a few really good Irish bars in LA,
Uh-huh.
and I've been to a few of them. But Bergen's always kind of stands out to me as the most. It's not the most Irishy one, although they have an Irish menu. In fact, Rob Gard and I ran an Irish whiskey tasting there.
Yes, you did. I
many
remember
years
that
ago.
one.
Yeah, that was fun
I
for a
recall.
bunch of financial nerd people. That was fun.
Yeah. That's a cool place.
Yep. So, St. Patty's Day, episode 11, which has, what's the name of this episode?
What's the name of this episode? Oh, come on, man. Let's make it up. It's the worst joke ever. It's the greatest. It's the
That's right.
It's the greatest intro to the worst joke ever. A Mick, a Jew, an Indian, and a Sicilian walk into a pub.
Boom.
How many people have we offended with that one?
And it's in the books.
It's in the book.
In the books. What we watch, when we drink, episode 11. Cheers, all.
Cheers.
And big thank you to Raj Sabrawal of Glass Revolution Imports for joining us, and to our future sponsor, Waterford Whiskey, Buddha Haben, HBO Max, Cinemax, Hulu, Netflix, and any other streaming service or whiskey manufacturer that you can name. And
Even Proper 12.
And the Proper 12. You know what? McGregor's out. We're in. And I'll never hit a 60-year-old man with a bottle.
We'll take that brand and we'll just run it into the ground.
Exactly.
I'm not sure
So-
that's the plan, but okay.
All right. So if you like this podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Audible, Spotify, and just about anywhere else you can find a podcast. And lastly, boozedancing.com. And if you feel so inclined, by all means, email us at boozedancing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, future topics, we're all in. So, gentlemen, happy St. Paddy's Day.
Sláinte.
Cheers.
Great day in the morning. Cheers, boys.